I'm here with Mark Hunt outside his Gregory Hill gym in Western Sydney.
Not mine. Please refrain from saying that's mine because I just follow the owners around.
All right, Mark. Well, today I kind of want to get to know you a little bit better. I guess everyone knows your story from your MMA career onwards, but I want to roll it all the way back, sort of have a look at what life was like for you growing up in New Zealand, and talk us through young Mark Hunt.
Well, it's to sum it all up. Watching a program last night on Netflix, Gabriel Fernandez. That was my life without me dying, pretty much. But it wasn't just 8 months of it. It was years and years. I was out at 8 years old. I was homeless for 2. I was out there running the streets. It was kind of rough. I got into fighting because I was born in New Zealand and my parents of Samoan heritage, and I got into fighting because I was getting into scraps all over the city, all over Auckland.
So you often say that fighting chose you. Is that in reference to your upbringing and the fact that you sort of had to choose a way of survival?
Correct, because I'm a good survivor. As a kid, some of the things that happened to you, especially the kids around my ways, you didn't know that it was happening. You thought it was normal. You think it's normal and you accept it. But as you get to meet people that come from a normal background, you realize that it isn't normal, and then you realize how fucked up you are or how fucked up it is. But the good thing for me is I've had some good avenues to showcase my life story and help others with my story, especially doing a book and trying to help others in their journey. It really touched my soul, and watching that young Gabriel Fernandez go through that torture and abuse, because I sort of understand where he come from. He couldn't get out, to be honest. At the end of the day, he did try a lot of things for that, but the ultimate thing that happened to him is he died at the end of it. With the piece of shit people, even his mother. So at the end of the day, he died, and it wasn't good. It's something that we don't want for any of our kids, to be honest. Kids shouldn't have to worry about being scared their whole lives. And I realized that learning from the counsellor that as a youth, you even as adults, we grow up living in a fight or flight mind, which is the back part of the brain. You have to fight to survive or die, and that poor child ended up dying at the end.
I know that obviously is a massive factor in shaping you, and do you think it's also something that as a fighter now, with the success that you've had, that you're able to sort of bring a light to those people and maybe show that there's a way out and that you can make something of your circumstances? Is that something that you feel like you've been given the position or the power to do?
Of course, the platform I have, of course I have. Like when I was younger, even younger, scrapping all the time, and then the groups trying to get you involved in different things. I didn't want to be one of those guys. I was already in jail twice. I was out, the 21st birthday, I just got out of jail again, and it was going to be my life, like inside the system, a revolving system. Where you don't get no chances, and I didn't want to be that for my life. I didn't want to be as I am this age and 30 years old, being handed a 20-year, 30-year life sentence for murder or doing something real stupid and bad. I wanted to be a productive member of society, a better person in society that helps people, that helps those with disadvantages. Money for me was the driving factor, especially as being a fighter, but it changed, everything changes because money's not even yours. You don't own anything in this world. Just like tomorrow is not guaranteed. The time we have isn't guaranteed. Like even today, like a minute, we could just get killed by a fucking pink elephant flying out of the sky. Who knows what life could give us?
When you look back at your first foray into fighting, I know that you said that it came from scrapping in the streets and scrapping in a nightclub. Can you sort of talk us through that night and how it went from you in that survival mode to looking at this as a profession?
It wasn't actually at that moment where I was saved from being arrested again from the nightclub. It wasn't that moment that changed my life and saw it as an avenue to make money. It was when I was actually here in Australia living in Manly that I was working a full-time job as a labourer at a pharmaceutical factory, helping to make tablets for Blackmores, a place called Tabco. I was living in Harbord with Lucy, and I just met my ex-wife Jules, and I'd made in 25 minutes or 27 minutes, I'd made more money than I made in 6 months working at that place. And I realized, oh shit, I can make money from this and make a living out of this, proper living. And then the next year I won the world title, became a full-time fighter. And even at the late age I became a professional fighter at 27 years of age. I won the world title at that age, and I got my first work full-time contract, which I was making 250,000 US a year for 4 or 5 fights, I think, maybe 6 fights. But it was double our money then. The US dollar was, one of their dollars was 2 Australian dollars, so I was making over $500,000 a year. Well, for some poor black fella like me, it's quite, not making 30,000 a year at a factory. It's pretty damn good. I was just got out of jail for assault, I think it was, and a friend of mine, we were staying in his garage. And he's like, his brother was living here in Fairfield, and he said, my mate's name was David, and he's like, would you like to come over and live here? And I said, oh, okay, what's it like in Australia? Yeah, it'd be good. I didn't realize what it would be like. I didn't realize there's a lot of lessons that I learned over the next 2 years when I actually moved here about looking after myself, gambling, a lot of issues like this that came up. And that's just what happened. Because I always was able to rely on my friends over in Auckland. I spent more time at my friend's house because I wasn't safe at home. But yeah, I learned from that 2 years as I moved here, I gained a gambling problem. It was, had nowhere to stay, had no one to turn to. It was, I was in a phone box in Fairfield about to go and rob a fucking Indian store for some money and stuff. And I think someone was telling me, look through the phone book and find somebody. I had nowhere to stay. I just got kicked out of the house. I was just standing at that phone box, just about to go rob this joint. And I went through this phone box, and I don't know why. I just stopped at one place. It was a halfway house in Ilbin, and I rang the guy with that money, and he said, "Oh, you can come and stay." I said, "I've got a job." I was sandblasting at IMP in Clyde. And they said, "You can come and stay here for, until you get paid." I didn't have money for the train, so I hiked it with my $10 suitcase to Fairfield train station and went to his place and stayed there till I got paid next. But yeah, it saved me from going to do some bad things and ending up in jail again. So the choices I made, then I was lucky to be here.
Did Western Sydney kind of take you in and save you in that sense as well then?
Well, yeah, I mean, I was out here. I met Jules. She was from out here in Campbelltown, and that's why I felt at home here. But I love Campbelltown. I've been here for like 25 years now, over half my life, with Jules, who's now my ex, but still my best friend, one of my best friends. Yeah, Campbelltown, everyone's fucked up. So I fit in really well. I shouldn't say that, but I love Western Sydney. It has a special place in my heart.
So once you've moved out here, you said that you signed your first contract. Can you talk about how you've got into K1 and how you went into winning your first World Grand Prix?
Fighting in the local circuits, I won the first 2 Oceanias. And I was only just someone to be chucked in there, to be honest. I didn't realize I could make money from it until I won the first Oceania. I went because I was helping a guy named Adam Watts for sparring. He's one of Australia's best kickboxers. And I wasn't going to go because I was getting paid $16,000 US. And Adam Watts said, "Mark, just take the fight." I ended up fighting Adam in the second round and beating him, and he was like, "Fuck, I should have just let you fucking stay back." But that's how I got, and I won the entry to fight in the World Grand Prix, the top 8 in the world. So I went from 16 for Ray Seffel. I'd lost that fight, but he couldn't continue because his eye was all black. So I moved on to fight Adam Watt, and I beat Adam Watt in the second round knockout. Then I went to the finals, which was the final 8 in the world. And then that year I won the world title, became a full-time professional fighter. And I was only making under $30,000 a year from that labouring job. So I made over $1 million fighting, and plus a full-time contract. 275, I forgot what it was, but yeah, it was good money for this black ass, like living out here, it was a good time.